Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
Good morning. I'll call the case. This is the Village of White Pigeon versus Rebecca Lynn Nickerson. I also saw it as Pierce Nickerson. Priest. How do you?
Priest.
That's how you.
P-R-E-I-S. Yeah, Priest.
Right. Rebecca Priest. Also present is Aaron Geschwint from the Geschwint Seaver Law Firm, representing the Village of White Pigeon, and their zoning administrator, Mr. Douglas Kuhlman. This is a formal hearing in a civil infraction zoning violation matter. Normally, these would go to the magistrate. Because of the overwhelming circumstances of this case, the village asked for it to come directly to formal hearing. This may be the worst hoarding case I've seen ever. I got some late emails this morning where parties asked to come by Zoom because it would have been a new formal. Ms. Priest is here. Ms. Geschwint, what's the situation here?
The situation here, I believe it was my understanding that we may have a consent judgment in this case.
I was told that.
Whereby Ms. Priest would allow the village to come in and clean up the property.
Is that true?
No,
Apparently not.
Then we can run the
not the property. No, you're talking about the outside.
Well, we'll see. The ticket alleges that on December 6th of 2024, that they did an administrative search warrant and they found the building was unsafe for human habitation.
That would be the 16th.
16th, you're right. I may have misstated, but the ticket says the 16th. And that is a violation of the White Pigeon Village nuisance ordinance. Mr. Kuhlman is here. And I'm going to ask you, Ms. Priest and Mr. Kuhlman, to both raise your right hand. You will swear or affirm any testimony about to given in this proceeding will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief.
I do.
I do.
All right. Was there discussion of some sort of consent order?
Yeah, yes, there was, Your Honor. I talked to Miss Nickerson and said, we would draft up this order, giving some benchmarks that, the exterior of the property would have to be cleaned within a certain amount of time. The interior of the property would have to be cleaned within a certain period of time as well. She said she would be willing to do that. And in lieu of signing a consent order, the village would be willing to dismiss or request the fines be dismissed on this case so she could take that funds and concentrate on getting her house cleaned up. Council did provide a consent order. They sent it to me. I've tried more than once calling Miss Nickerson's phone and it goes straight to voicemail. So,
well, could somebody send one to me?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I'll print it and we'll share it with the defendant and see whether it's acceptable to her. I suppose while we're doing that, we should make up some record here. Mr. Kuhlman, did you go out on December 16th and execute a administrative search warrant on this property at 200 West East Hodgins or 300 East Hodgins Street?
yes, Your Honor, I did.
And did you do a report of that?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
And did you forward a copy of that as part of the pleadings in this case?
I've submitted that to you, Your Honor, plus I've submitted additional supplementals, which I can share screen if necessary.
All right. And the police report that you prepared, the original date of 12/16 is the report and 51 pages, including photographs.
That is correct, Your Honor.
And are those fair and accurate representation? Yeah, give one. Fair and accurate representations of what you saw?
Yes, Your Honor. I would just indicate to you that we did the best we could in making this case presentable. I had indicated to Ms. Nickerson that this is the course of action I would need to take to do this inspection. She was there the day that I came. However, she refused to be cooperative with me and said she had to go someplace and left. I did not want to force entry into the home and do damage to any doors. Plus, there was a dog inside. So all the photos you have are from an exterior view or from the interior of the garage that was open at the time.
Which was locked. And you can see damage, there is damage to the door.
All right. I'm going to admit the report and your photographs as exhibit 1 for this hearing. Yeah, there is a formal record being made of this, and you can even view it on YouTube, but you can't make your own recording in a public courtroom. Was there a supplemental report?
If you go, yes, I've submitted a couple to the court, Your Honor. Basically, the supplementals on the same day that I did the search warrant, the village was there on a previous order that was under Carl's name and did a cleanup. Shortly after the police department did that cleanup, the police department notified me that the area that they cleaned up, she was already bringing stuff from someplace, or it was in the house or whatever, and stacking it right back up in the area we had just cleaned up.
So this property was previously cleaned up?
The day he came to do the search warrant.
You had an order, Your Honor, under Carl Nickerson that after, I believe it was December the 1st, that the village had the authority to come in and clean up the exterior of the property. So on the same day that the village cleanup crew came to clean up the exterior of the property is the day that I executed the search warrant for the interior of the property.
Okay. All right, let's take a look at this consent order. Well,
I have
All
a
right.
couple
all right,
questions.
okay, go ahead.
Okay, on the search warrant, doesn't it have to be like a seal or something, or he just hand me this paper and okay, start from the beginning. On the 24th, Carl came to court and we got the cleanup. And you gave us till the December 1st. On November 9th, my husband got sick. On the 11th, he was hospitalized with diabetic ketoacidosis and put into a coma on the 12th. On the 19th, he came out of the coma and we
We're talking November now?
Yes. He passed away in the hospital. He never made it home until yesterday. I got his remains finally because they have fouled a lot of things up. And his death certificate is still no good because my name is spelled wrong on there and my birthday. So I can't access anything. So amongst all of this, I cannot stay in my home. I can't grieve my husband. I took a table and was taking boxes out of the house, sorting them. They either went to the landfill, they went to the free store, or I found a place for them in the house. If I couldn't find a place from the house, they've been donated. I have empty boxes on the patio where I'm sorting. I'm sorting out the totes and I'm getting rid of stuff. And I've been making a big headway on
So
this,
who was the hoarder? Carl?
both of us. But in the process of on the 16th, Carl made me promise him on the 3rd, the last time I saw him, that I would get the house decorated for Christmas. We haven't done that in a few years, and that's what he wanted. So I pulled out like the big plastic blow molds and I put Frosty up, and I had the other ones in the trash cans where we store them because you don't want to get knocked around and stuff in the sheds. That's one of the first things that they threw away.
All right, well,
And that wasn't on the list.
let's go through this.
So this is a picture of the exterior, which is a 2024 photo from the county. Showing the debris and stuff in the backyard. Again, upon arrival, Miss Nickerson was there. I told her that I had the administrative search warrant that had been authorized by the courts. I did present it to her. She said she didn't have time to deal with it. She had to go someplace.
I had to go to the funeral home. And
All
then
right.
my dad had heart surgery on the 17th. So I was kind of,
All right, well, she's indicated she had important business to transact, so she wasn't there. All right, what are we seeing in this picture?
So this is a picture of the 40 cubic yard dumpster and the cleanup crew that was there under the court order that was for Carl Nickerson. As you can see, there's quite a bit of debris still in the backyard on the day of the cleanup. This is the area that the cleanup crew took most of the stuff, and then within a few days afterwards, she started putting more stuff under the canopy. The cleanup crew ran into quite a bit of mold and what appeared to be like mice feces when they were removing this debris. This is another photograph of the backyard back towards their storage shed. Here's just a generalized view of the backyard before they started the cleanup. Again, just another view. These are just different angles of the backyard. So this is a picture of the front window. I have a photograph coming later that will be more detailed, but there was somewhere between a dozen to 2 dozen large flies flying around in the windows. Typically, when you have flies like that, it means that you've got something rotten or dead. Typically, when you have flies, you tend to have maggots, and when you have the combination of those two, you tend to have cockroaches as well.
Help yourself to my yard.
Here's a view of the garage with the garage door open. This entire garage is filled to this capacity, almost to the roof trusses of the ceiling. This is the garage door going from the back of the garage. You go into this and you turn to the right, and about 3 foot to the right is the back door to the house. This is the entryway to get in. I'm obviously not a Tiny Tim, but I had to walk sideways through this little area even to get to the back door. That's how much debris is there. And the debris was falling down from the top of the pile as I went past it. So this is the back door that goes into the house. Again, it was locked, and I did not want to damage her door, so I did not force entry. This is looking from the back door of her house through the garage, and you can see at the very back of the photograph is the garage door with the garage door open, indicating that the entire garage is filled with this clutter. This is a photograph looking through the back door into the kitchen area. You can see that, it's just extreme clutter throughout the entire kitchen area. To the left, you can see the stairway railing going down to the basement. I apologize for the picture, but this is going through a glass door. As you can see, the basement stairway is just filled with clutter, so you would have an extreme difficulty getting to the basement. I have no idea what the basement looks like. This is an entry door on the front of the garage, as you can see, has been blocked off. But there was no way anybody could get in or out of this door because of the debris that's filled on the other side of it. Just another picture of the front window where you can see items are piled up in the front area of the home, pushing the blinds out against the windows. Just another view of it. This is a picture being taken through the glass of the front door. So the living room area proceeding back to the kitchen. This is from the kitchen window looking towards the front. This window was unlocked, so I was able to open it. When I opened it, there was a very strong pungent odor coming from the window. Also, there were several flies that flew out of the window when I opened it. Kind of the same picture, just a little different angle, showing the clutter that's in the kitchen area. I would tell you that Miss Nickerson indicated to me that the reason the flies are in the house was because the refrigerator within the house broke and was not functioning, and she wasn't aware of it. This is just where the garage door has been closed. There has been a placard placed on the garage door saying that this home is unsafe for human habitation. Both these vehicles sitting in the driveway, both the blue one and the white one, are filled with quite a bit of debris inside of those as well. So I'm not sure if these vehicles are even operable. Just another the same view. Copy of the placard on the front door, or the garage door, I'm sorry. This is the entry door going into the garage where it's been placarded. The citation was posted, and the copy of the administrative search warrant and tabulation and return was posted on the door. And the front picture window also now has a placard on it, is unsafe for human habitation. Here's just a zoom up of that window, and you can see all those flies that are right there. I don't know, there's what, 5 or 6 of them right there. Those are all live and flying around in the window. Here's a picture of the white vehicle that you can see is filled with debris. Kind of hard to tell with the smoked windows, but the back of the car is filled with items as well. Here's the front seat from the driver's side. You can see that there's debris just thrown in the front seat area of the vehicle. Here's the blue vehicle. You can see there's debris and stuff the car is being used as a storage facility for whatever is in all these containers and bags. Here's a picture of the back seat of that vehicle. Just a view from the other side of the same vehicle. From the blue vehicle, front seat from the driver's side of the vehicle. This is a picture. I got a call from the police department the next day. Miss Nickerson says this was not her, but before they got the dumpster out of there, somebody had opened the back door of the dumpster and started taking things out of the dumpster and putting it on the yard.
Trash.
This was the dumpster at the completion of their cleanup. So there was a lot of debris that was hauled out of the backyard. This is all exterior stuff that was hauled out. And that's the original. I do have a couple of supplemental reports. I did turn this over to the Michigan Department of Human Services, Adult Protective Services. They actually declined my request to go lend any aid to Miss Nickerson. Says it was unfounded. There's just a copy of the report from the Adult Protective Services unit that says they were not going to get involved in it.
All right, so this is as of December 12th. Now, by the end of the day, a lot of that stuff had been removed by the crew and placed in the dumpster. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, and you and Miss Priest Nickerson discussed this consent order, is that correct?
I did talk with her. I asked her if she would be willing to do a consent order in lieu of the fines. And at that same conversation, I did ask her if I could see if I could make another call to Adult Protective Services and or community mental health to see if they could come in and at least assist her with some of the things she's got going on in her personal life.
All right, Miss Priest Nickerson, you have a copy of this we just gave you?
Yes,
Let's take a look at it.
okay.
Starting at page 2, the court accepts the report of the Township Ordinance Enforcement Officer and determination that the house is subject property is uninhabitable in its current condition. I have accepted the report and the house does appear to be uninhabitable.
That has changed quite a bit in the
All right.
last,
Well,
Few weeks.
it sounds like you may have made some progress in the meantime,
We're
but
trying.
here's what's in the order. And this is not in effect yet. This is what is proposed by Officer Coleman. Has Miss Hill shown up for her sentence? Well, she's not late yet, so we'll see. All blight, litter, debris on the exterior of the property must be cleaned up within 48 hours of the signing of this order. Sounds like a lot of that's been done. 2, the defendant, her or her agents may enter the house on the property and the garage for the sole purpose of removing property and disposing of the accumulation of items within each. The following parameters shall be followed. An unobstructed clear space of 30 inches width by 36 inches in depth by 6.5 feet in height shall be maintained around the electrical panel. The clear space shall not be used for storage. An unobstructed clear space of 30 by 30 shall be made in front of the control side of the furnace and water heater. All these are from the code. All doors to the sleeping areas and to the exterior shall be unobstructed and shall be open fully at least 90 degrees from closed. An unobstructed pathway of 36 inches in width or the width of the exterior doors shall be maintained from the exterior doors to all sleeping areas. So people can get out of there.
I don't have 36-inch doors,
All right, well, or the width of the doors, it says.
which is greater.
All right. An unobstructed pathway, we're on page 3 now, from the doorway of each sleeping area to the bed must be provided with a minimum equal width to that of the doorway serving the sleeping area. An unobstructed pathway from the bed in each sleeping area to the emergency escape window shall be maintained. Every emergency escape opening shall be easily openable and capable of being held in position by the window hardware. Access shall be provided to all electrical appliances and devices to confirm proper connection to the electrical system and that the circuitry is not overloaded. Each sleeping room shall have a smoke detector installed. That's city code. The hallway outside each sleeping room shall have a smoke and carbon monoxide detector installed. Also, village code. The defendant shall eliminate all piled content from the heater and air conditioning registers to provide at least a 1 inch by 1 inch clear space around each. The defendant shall eliminate all piled content from the kitchen, such as the sink, refrigerator, stove, and appliances, so that all are accessible and can be used. Upon clearing the house of the accumulation of piled items and making the repair to the interior required by this order, The defendant shall contact the Township Ordinance Enforcement Officer Douglas Coleman in order for inspection to determine whether the occupancy can be authorized. So this is Mr. Coleman's effort to get you back in your house. The defendant shall have 60 days from the date of this order to effectuate the removal of piled items from the inside of the house and garage and to comply with paragraph 2 herein. Occupancy of the house and the attached garage shall only be permitted after the granting of an occupancy permit by the township building official. No person or animals shall sleep in this house until occupancy permit is granted. So these are just fundamental basic code requirements to make this house safely
He said that
habitable.
I could keep the dog because I don't have the board of television or the funding to put her up in a kennel. And where I'm staying, they've got,
Well, if you
dogs
can
and
get
they
in the house for occupancy, the dog can come. It is further ordered that if the defendant does not pull the required permits and or does not achieve occupancy by no later than 45 days after the signing of this order, the effort to renew the structure shall be deemed abandoned and it shall be demolished no later than 60 days after the signing of this order. I wouldn't do that unless we had another hearing, but it is further ordered that the building official and or ordinance enforcement officer shall be permitted to enter and inspect the house on the subject property between the hours of 8 and 5 for purposes of safety, progress, and compliance inspection until such time as the occupancy permit is granted. It is further ordered that if the defendant fails or refuses to abide by any of the provisions of this order, occupies the house without a permit, or enters the house for purposes not in accordance with this order, or fails or refuses to meet any of the deadlines, the court will enter an order requiring the defendant to show cause why she should not be found in contempt of the provisions of this order. So what this is a game plan to try to get your house made occupiable and ultimately cleaned up. If it is not able, if you aren't able to do that, then this village is going to ask me to have the house torn down. So this is very sad all the way around. This didn't just happen overnight. And we had the earlier case when Carl was still alive. And then he got sick and he got sicker and then he died. And so in the middle of all this, you're grieving. But this is a situation you can tell just by looking at the pictures that you guys were completely overwhelmed by the circumstances here. But this is a public health menace, fire hazard, eyesight hazard, and it just needs, it can't be like this. So it sounds like you've been working on some things since December. Now we have the same problem every year. We get into fall and winter.
yeah,
It's
it's a
hard
great time to.
It's hard
Yeah.
to do much on it when it's 16 degrees outside. There's snow on the ground, but what's the current status?
I've cleared out a little over half of the living room. I have boxes on the back porch, which I guess are a blight now. And I
Well,
set up a table so I can sort everything, so I have,
Yeah,
I have the space to get it out, but then I can't have the stuff outside.
no, you're gonna have to
Because-
you're gonna have to have the stuff outside to clear this up. You can't. I can't, looking at those pictures, I can't even, of course, I've seen lots of these, but there was even room to live in there. Plus you had a,
Well, part of that is getting my husband out. He, because of the ketoacidosis, he was hallucinating and became violent. My son came in and he was very angry and didn't know what to do. So he took totes where they were stacked and threw them to the point like my front window has cracks in the casing. So it wasn't, not that it was any better, a lot better, but it used to be in like boxes, and I had like rows of boxes that we were sorting through because like I don't need 6 pairs of drapes for the front window and that.
Where did you
that kind of
get all
things.
this stuff?
Well, my grandmother passed and I inherited a bunch of stuff. My best friend passed and her mom had passed just a couple months before she did, and her son just brought it over like a truckload and just dumped it and like gone. And I became like a central holding point. And I've asked numerous times, come get your shit. Well, now it's just gone. I mean, and a lot of my things are gone.
All right.
Like my husband built little funky metal sculptures out of like everything. Like he'd take a pie server and bend it up and make it a scorpion, or a spoon and bend it and make it a flamingo. I mean, he did some of the coolest little funky artwork and it's all gone. They took my powder coated, which are outside. They took my powder coated plant stands. They took and just the teacups and saucers and the teapot. They took every planter I had like that. They're all gone. And I don't understand how that is not an outdoor. I mean, they took the 16 bags of mulch for the front of the house and they're gone. The red rubber mulch, it's all gone. They took my leaf gutter gardens, still in the plastic on my potting stand. It's gone.
Well, it wasn't their job under my order to sort out what was just a giant pile of
Right,
stuff.
but no, the planters were all on the table and
All right, I don't know what to say about it, but you let it get to the
Well, I know,
situation,
I
they
did, but-
couldn't tell what was good and what wasn't. Everything just went. So can you comply with the terms of this?
I don't know if
order?
I could get it done in 60 days or 45 days, actually, because it says 45 days to comply.
Well, we are in the middle of January. I'll
I
concede
know.
that. Mr. Coolman, can we modify those dates?
I don't have a problem modifying the dates. I would just like to make a couple comments, Your Honor, if I may.
All right.
Yes, it sounds egregious on the village to do a demolition of this house because the house is not in that bad a condition structurally, I don't believe. However, we had most local contractors will not touch this house because of the potential biohazard. So I had to get a company that would be willing to clean this house up. Just cleaning out the debris from this company that's trained in biohazard, the quote came in at over $35,000. So it would be more economical for the village to just tear it down as to spend $35,000. Additionally, I think we can amend these timeframes all we want, but Ms. Nickerson has another problem that as of April 1st of 2025, the county is taking this property for tax foreclosure. She has over $3,000 in back taxes on this property.
Well, she has time to redeem that. So, yeah, there's a lot of heartache here.
And like he said, he couldn't get help through CMH or DHS for me. So nobody calls me back. Everybody says they call, but nobody has called me. From the 12th of November, when I called Bill Burgoyne, he said, call the courts. The courts said, call Doug. I talked to Doug the Friday before Thanksgiving. And he had left me a message back that he said he couldn't do anything because the court had signed the order or whatever. And Bill's answer to it was, it's just a bunch of garbage. You're going to lose it all anyway. And just tell her I'm not in. And this is what he told the clerk when I called to talk to him numerous times.
Well, it's your home. It was your home with your husband, and I don't like the idea of demolishing it and having a gap tooth on the street.
And how many hours did I lose with my husband that I could have
All right, well,
spent there? Because I was trying to hustle everything, and it's so much. And I lost my insurance when I lost him, so I have no mental health. I don't have
well, we don't.
And it's just the point where I don't have a second to breathe.
All right, so am I setting you up to fail?
I hope not.
I'm gonna change these dates to 90 days, and Miss Priest, nothing is gonna happen until we have another hearing.
I mean, everybody has been through my yard. They won't, the police won't even come out when I call, when people are, they just went through it. They took whatever was on the yard. They opened up the hopper. I closed it. I tried to throw everything back in. And now I'm getting accused of it. They wouldn't even answer the phone.
Well, there's a term for that. It's called an attractive nuisance. Because it's so bad, it attracts not only raccoons.
We had not had a problem until they put that hopper in.
Well,
I mean, they took my dad's 4 snow tires for the truck and they were in the kennel behind the doghouse. They took one of the doghouses. They were in the kennel behind the doghouse and they took everything from behind the shed that is fenced off. You cannot see it from the road. And Bill assured us that as long as you cannot see it from the road, it is okay. So they took all our camping gear, our fishing gear, my totes. They just threw it all away. They took all my compost. I don't know why, but they took every.
If I do nothing here, well, I say, all right, good luck, go home and clean this up. Nothing will happen. You don't, and I wish I had a better answer to this. There's no magic agency that comes in and cleans all this up. It falls back on the village and it's expensive. This is costing the village $50,000 probably before it's all done. And they would rather you cleaned up your house and got to live in it than they tear it down. But it can't go on like this.
Oh, I totally understand that. I do, and I agree, but I've only got so many hours in the day.
I'm disappointed that adult PS, did they even come out and talk to you?
They came out on, I forget the day. Carl had just went into the hospital. And this Madeline, whatever, just barged her way into the house. She said she absolutely had to be in to look at the house, blah, blah, blah. And which I found out was a lie. She handed me a wadded up card with her name on it. No signage, no vest, no hat, no lanyard with a, so she could have been anybody. But she ended up calling my husband. Thank God he woke up. And yeah, because they had told, there was a comment made about the color of Carl's legs. He was 58 years old, diabetic, overweight. His legs had been purple since like 2004 when he had his first abdominal surgery of the 3. And we were told that it was, it could be heavy metal and just poor circulatory. Well, one of the nurses made comment on the color of his legs were that of like when you see an old lady who fallen in the tub and been on the ground for like 4 days. So he told CPS that it was, I had let my husband lay on the floor for 4 days. And we had just been to my mom and dad's and my little brother's house at like 10 o'clock. We left my mom and dad's like at 9:30. And then we stopped and dropped a box off for my mom, my little brothers. And then we went home. And I tried to talk Carl into going to the hospital. And he said he was going to jump out of the truck. And if I would have known that, then I probably would have let him jump out of the truck and taken him to, they would went to the emergency room either way.
Well, I let you go here. I'm not sure
horrible.
if I let this go, it'll go about 97 minutes, but adult PS came, looked at the house and said goodbye.
Yeah, yep. And told him that it was environmentally unfriendly and, but at that time we were looking at probably 6 months rehab. He'd have to be in a rehab facility. So I had, some time.
Your Honor, if I
Do you
may,
have anyone that's helping you with this? No help. Do you have a vehicle?
Yes, I have 3.
Do you have any source of income?
No. No, and until they get now the death certificate's wrong, and until they get that corrected, I can't access anything.
Where is that hang up?
They put my last name as Treese, and they put my birth date as 1979.
Who's they?
I don't know if it was the state, the medical examiner. I'd get it through Dan
Jantikowski.
Thank you, at Farrand. And I just picked up his death certificate and caught it yesterday.
Where are you staying?
I'm couch surfing.
Is there heat on in the house?
Yes. And electric and gas and water. Yeah, all the utilities are on.
Well, that's a cause for concern just for fire hazard. You're not there, the heat's on and it's very
Well,
cold.
we've got gas alarms, carbon monoxide, heat detectors and smoke detectors throughout the whole house.
Well, what I propose we do is we get through the depth of the winter and see what we can accomplish here. What's the current status of the exterior of the house? Mr. Coolman?
There's still some stuff out there, and then again, like she's indicated, she's been bringing some stuff out to sort it, so it's not in the best of condition, but obviously you and I have seen worse.
Well, to some extent, she has to bring it out to sort it. All right, can you?
One of the
live with
problems,
the
Your
trucks?
Honor, is this is right across the street from the school. So it's a heavy traffic area and everybody sees it and everybody complains.
Not all of it's seen from the road because the back side of the house, you can't see from the front.
Well, you could see it from the aerial picture, how bad it was. I don't think you could
Well,
see it
was,
from
yeah.
satellite from outer space, but it's in the middle of town, right across from the street, from the school, and people are complaining about it. On behalf of the village, Ms. Gushwine, I changed the dates to 90 days to get us into the spring. Can the village consent to that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Priest Nickerson, can you accept this order?
I'm gonna try.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes.
So I did, this call came from Adult Protective Services on the original complaint. I again reached out to Adult Protective Services on January the 6th of this year. They indicated there was nothing they could do. I called St. Joe County Community Mental Health. They assured me they would call Miss Nickerson. Doesn't sound like they have, but I've since been told that if I could get a hold of Miss Nickerson, which I've tried, Covered Bridge Health in Centerville apparently will offer services, and because of her financial situation, may very well offer her assistance at no cost.
Very good. All right, I'm going to continue this matter. Which we almost always do. And we always struggle through the winter. To monitor the progress of this, I have a couple of these set for this afternoon. About 90 days from now, maybe the snow will be melted. February, March, April 15th. Let's set this for Wednesday, April 23rd at 1:30.
By Zoom or in person, Your Honor?
Zoom. Ms. Nickerson, this order has Mr. Coolman's phone number in it.
Yeah, we've been in touch before this
All right.
even became a
He
thing.
has been reaching out to try to find some help from you, and it sounds like Covered Bridge might be willing to provide some assistance. So I want you to call Mr. Coolman, and he will provide that additional information. And I want you to make as much progress as you can in this between now and April 23rd. Perhaps we get an occupancy permit, you can move back into your own house. My preference would be that you save this rather than it goes up for tax sale and gets torn down.
Hopefully I can access some funds. Yeah, because I mean, everything's blocked. It's just how the law works on that.
All right. The order, we'll send you a copy. The order that I have, that you have, I changed each of the deadlines to 90 days. And as consent, I said Aaron Geschwint on behalf of the village was
Is there
consent on the record.
Is there a
and
way
record
that,
made.
not that, because of everything that's been going on, I don't want people just in and out of my house, whatever. I should have some semblance of privacy.
Yes,
Can we make that so, you know, if he wants to come over like on a Tuesday at like 3?
yeah, that's
you know what I
essentially,
mean?
that's essentially what it says.
No, it says he can
Permitted to enter and
liquidate
inspect the
5.
house, but yeah, he'll contact you first.
Yeah, because I want to make sure that I don't have something going on that day
All right,
and that I can have somebody there with me.
let's see how we can do between now and April.
Okay.
Do you have any more questions?
Um,
All right,
I
you're
don't
free
think
to
so.
go. This Geschwint, I'll give you a copy of that order. It's a little scratched up the way I did it, but the content is the same. Mr. Coolman, thank you, and that was received as Exhibit 1.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great day.
Thank you. All right, you're free to go.
all right, thank you.